Yeah. You know, it's for you to, take off from from Mexico at that point to California, um, and then meet them and then come back. What were your wife's first thoughts when you came back and you kind of, gave her the good news, this new gospel?
I can't begin to think what she was thinking. I don't know. She
Yeah.
went through hell.
Yeah.
When I was in the business of running my business into the ground, she knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And she kept saying, "You're borrowing money to make your payroll. That's not a successful business." And I go, "You don't understand a business plan." Because what I was doing was borrowing from my IRA to make payroll,
Yeah.
which, and by the time all the payrolls were made and the next check came in, it gave me the illusion of being above water. But in fact, what I was doing was draining my IRA before I was even old enough to take a legitimate deposit,
Wow.
withdrawal.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she was thinking, but she sure snapped right to it.
Yeah.
And, she looked into what the diet was and started figuring out ways to find the things that I needed, and particularly the supplements,
Yeah.
and where to find them affordably.
Yeah.
And she's been supportive ever since. And she, a lot of times, hasn't happened lately, but a lot of times I would forget
Yeah.
something that a normal person might forget,
Yeah.
And I'd say, Pat, I think it's coming back. And she'd say, "You're crazy. You're
Yeah.
73 years old. Everybody forgets stuff,"
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
important to me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I did have a relapse,
Yeah.
and it was only when I was about a year into it,
Yeah.
and I was on a sidewalk with a bunch of people, and this woman who I didn't even know said, "How much do you weigh anyway?" Because I had lost about 40, 45 pounds.
Wow.
And I told her from change of diet, I stopped eating a quarter and a half of ice cream every night. That helped in that process.
Yeah.
But I told her, and when I weighed 135 pounds, and she went like this. She pointed her finger at me and she goes, "No man should weigh 135 pounds."
Oh,
And my ego's going, you know,
yeah. Oh boy.
and like a fool, I listened to her like it was her business, right?
Right.
And I was scheduled for a trip up to the border to do something. I forget what. And I was going to be up there for 3 days. And I said, "Well, I'm going to be up there 3 days. I'm going to gain 5 pounds." So I spent 3 days. I must have ate probably 10 or 11 of those giant cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
I had half a dozen milkshakes. I
Yeah.
bought a thing of peanut butter this high
Yeah.
and a giant bag of red licorice sticks
Yeah.
and used them as a spoon.
Yeah.
And I did a bunch, and I gained the 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And
I
I
bet you
came
did.
home. And for some reason, when I came home, I stopped exercising, which is a huge part of my protocol. I don't know. I don't know if they were tied together or what.
Hmm.
And then I started slacking off on the supplements. And then the next thing I knew, I couldn't hold a thought in the time it took to cross a room.
Yeah.
And it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was being filmed for a documentary by this couple from Los Angeles. The
Yeah.
producer was a very famous uh, Hollywood producer back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Really big, important guy.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend was the videographer.
Yeah.
And they were filming me for this documentary about people like myself.
Yeah.
And I called them, and I got a hold of the girl, Leah, and I told her what was happening. And she says, "You need to speak to my husband." So she put him on the phone, and I told him my dilemma. And he said, "Listen, you need to know we talk to people that are on this protocol every day, hours on end, and probably a third of them did exactly what you did at some point,
Yeah.
because it's hard to maintain all the components." He said, "You just need to know that almost all of them regain their cognition."
That's awesome.
And I was so relieved to hear that because I thought I had lost it for good.
Yeah.
And it was harder the second time to get it back, but I did get it back.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's amazing.